Hello again. This time, it's going to sound a heck of a lot better. Welcome to the Old Man Kennethan Show. Anyway, well, if I had a theme song, then now you don't know what it would sound like, but that would not be it. But guess what? I did a little test and I heard myself clear and not wonky. I don't know what I did. I just unplugged and plugged my microphone again. And there it is, okay? So I'm back. So I'm going to try this again because it sounded bad. Plus, it gives me a chance to try this all over again and a great way to get experience. You keep doing this over and over again, you learn over and over again how much better it is. So, anyways, he is risen. He is risen indeed. Welcome to the Old Man Kennethan Show, where me, Old Man Kennethan, Ken, talks about stuff. You know, stuff that interests me, and I hope interests you. This is why this is supposed to be a dialogue, a multi-log. It's supposed to be a discussion between me and you. Me sharing what I'm talking about, me sharing what I'm doing, me sharing some of my interests, and they happen to be your interest too, then all the better, right? So, let me see. Get my notes back up again since I decided to change everything. I'm going to go back to starting the show again. So, here we go. First off, I want to pray. I want to pray for all of us. I want to pray for this because, after all, we want it to be God's will be done and not ours. And so, here we go. Almighty God, it is so wonderful opportunity to do this again because practice does make perfect. We'll never become perfect, but it's grateful for these things that you do, that do happen, that help us to persevere, help us to get better, help us to learn, help us to grow, help us to become better attuned to everything. I don't know. Help us in all that we're doing to make sure that we're focused around you. Let your will be done, not ours. Watch over those who are asking for prayer, who are suffering right now during the time of New Year's and realizing that there's a brand new year with challenges and depression and stress that are coming up. Watch over everybody as they travel back home. Watch everyone as they travel wherever they're going for the future. Help them, Father, to make sure their focus is always around you and that you are the only thing that can be of comfort to them. We know that the prayers in the prayer chat are extensive. We also know that there are those who don't ask for prayer. Help them, Father, that we know that their unsaid prayers are ones you know already, and we're grateful that you also listen to them. Help us in all of our avenues and our deck and our deeds. In Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. All right. I don't think it matters if my headset's on or not. I don't think it causes the problem, okay? But we're going to try this again, okay? So, yeah. First I want to do is I want to read a just brief blip from Psalm 34. It's going to be the whole psalm we're going to discuss tomorrow in the Bible study. So, but Psalm 34, 8 to 10, this is the part where a lot of folks recognize and hear over and over again, "Oh, taste and see the Lord is good." So that's the part that everyone reads and hears. But, "Oh, taste and see the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. Oh, fear the Lord, you his saints, for those who fear him have no lack. The young lions suffer want and hunger, but those who seek the Lord lack no good thing." Those who seek the Lord lack no good thing. We'll discuss more about this psalm, as I misspelled psalm. Can you beat that? I thought I spelled it right. Oh, wow. It looks terrible. People are going to look at my stream going, what the heck? Does this guy know how to write anything? Yeah, I do know how to write, okay, but I clearly screwed up anyways. All right. Today, what we will do is what my whole plan is to do is to talk about different things that I think are of interest. Now, you can argue they're not of interest. And that's fine with me. They're my interest, and that's why I'm talking. So you have a choice to listen, or you have a choice to not listen and not watch. And that's your prerogative, okay? I want to double check one thing. I definitely have done this in the past. I've got to do it today. Is to check on my stream itself to see whether or not I could probably listen to my headset to see how I sound this way. This will give me a chance to see if I'm actually doing the right things. Yeah, I think I sound fine, so that's good. So yeah, good. So things are looking fine there, so that's good. I want to make sure that I was sounding correctly because before things were not sounding correctly. So all right. Of course, by shutting down my previous stream and rating the Calvinists, I lost all my viewers. Not that we're that many anyway. So they're over there now watching the Calvinists, which is fine. So, anyways, I said this is all for me, probably more practice than anything else. So, first up is movies, okay? And the first topic is going to be 2018 year in review. So, I saw about 17 movies last year. It was a decent year of movies. I wasn't disappointed. There were some movies that I thought I should probably never have seen. I joined the AMC A list, and so because I can now see 3 movies a week, for basically $20 plus tax, that I can go see movies I probably wouldn't have seen. Like I saw Bumblebee, and I probably wouldn't have seen it, and I wish I hadn't seen it. Okay, now if you happen to be a Transformer fan and you want to see origin story, go see it. Okay, or maybe just see it in matinee, or even just wait till it's on Netflix. I don't sure. Okay, so to me, number one movie I thought last year was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Okay, so I saw a lot of movies last year, 17 of them. That I thought was the best one. I mean, I liked Avengers: Infinity Wars. Thanos was a really good villain. I wasn't necessarily moved as much when everyone died because I know that with the Infinity Gauntlet, you actually can reverse time, or with the way that stories go in the comic book world, you can have people go back in time, or you have people come back to life and whatever. So, is anybody ever really dead? No. Not to mention which you have multiple versions and multiverses and multi-universes, and you have multiple of the same people who even meet up with each other, right? Forward and backwards in time. So, anyways, so Into the Spider-Verse. Now, I heard some people say that one of the great movies of the year was A Quiet Place, and John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. And apparently, it's also a great movie to see in the theaters. I didn't see it in the theaters. I got to see it now on Netflix or Amazon. But that's my plan. And that was a pretty good movie. I heard it was a really good movie. So I just kind of mentioned it, throwing it out there, okay? So I think, what else do I have on my list of movies? I know that I mentioned, Aquaman was decent, but, some people think it was better than Spider-Man. I didn't necessarily agree with that, okay? I saw Deadpool 2, which is really always a funny movie. Generally the same, I think, as Deadpool 1. No more, no less, I'd say, Black Panther was a good movie. Tomb Raider I Can Only Imagine was a really good movie. One you want to see. Like the music of Mercy Me is a good origin story about what happened to him and the start. Ready Player One was a decent movie. Pacific Rim Uprising, yeah, okay. Incredibles 2 was good. Jurassic World, okay. Ant-Man and the Wasp was good. Mission Impossible 6, okay. Bohemian Rhapsody, really good movie. I suggest you go see it. Mortal Engines, not so good. And the last movie I saw was Bumblebee. Actually, I saw The Mule, probably the last movie I saw in 2018. Clint Eastwood's movie. And it was nice and simple compared to all the movies I just read off the list there. It's a rather simple movie, you think about it. All right, so it takes care of 2018. What was your favorite movie of 2018? Was it one of those? Was it one I missed? What was your number one? What was your number 2018 movie? And even if you didn't see one, I'm sure you heard about. Your friends or family said you gotta see this movie. So maybe there's a movie out there that I miss on that list. All right, 2019 and year in expectation. You know what I'm gonna say? End of December, Star Wars Episode 9. So I'm ready for the conclusion of the trilogy. We'll see what happens with this. We'll see what's going to shake out, because what happened with Solo and Episode 8 kind of rocked the Star Wars universe a little bit, because you haven't seen much. They canceled the next Solo movie, so to speak. That wasn't Han Solo. I meant a Star Wars story movie. Even though I think they're still greenlit other stuff you see, like The Mandalorian on TV and the other stuff. So it's not like Star Wars is dead. It's just like this is going to be end of the era, I might say. I think was what Lucas always planned, was to have 9. If he had a chance to do 9 movies. The 3 middles, the 3 beginning, and 3 ends. And so this actually closes for me in the book of my canon, or my world. of what I grew up with and what I hoped that would happen one day. Having 9 movies, thought it'd be complete. Avengers Endgame should be the end game to the Infinity Wars. We'll see what happens. We'll see who does live, who does not live. That might be where you actually do have the tiers, because I don't know if everyone's going to come back. If we're going to see different characters being played for iconicness, right? We see the comic books all the time. Different characters, Thor replaced, Captain America replaced, Iron Man replaced, multiple versions of Spider-Man. So who knows what happens there, okay? And there's lots of other movies out there that are on the list I have listed for myself personally, okay? Like Alita, Battle Angel. It's always been a cool looking trailer. We'll see how it plays out. Also, sorry, where's my notes? Where'd my notes go? Captain Marvel. The Upside looks like a pretty cool movie. So it's based on a true story. I think stars... oh my gosh, I got his name all of a sudden. But anyways, one guy takes care of a guy who's totally paralyzed, and it's a buddy movie, comedy movie, right? And then Cold Pursuit was coming out pretty soon. Is Liam Neeson? Because does he ever do a bad movie? I don't know. He does bad movies. And Hellboy is coming out. Parents rated R. So I'll have to see how that plays out. I'm so excited about making it actually fit the comic books versus the other one. Okay, so that's what movies are on your list for anticipation for 2019. Next up, comics. Now, I've been collecting comics for a while. Two different runs, I might say. I was doing it in the early 90s. I loved X-Men. Having extra, being able to have a job with income and having a little extra cash on the side. I did comic books. It was a way for me to have my entertainment, might say, during the days when my kids were growing up. I thought I could share it with them one day. Obviously, I raised 4 gamers, and so there is a certain amount of interest in comics, a certain amount of interest in the characters, okay? But I stopped doing that for a while, and then, of course, started going to Emerald City Comic Con and thought, why not start looking at some comic books again? So now I've been doing that. I don't do a lot of Marvel and DC stuff, even though I do have Marvel and DC. Most of my stuff is indie stuff, and a lot of it comes from Image Comics. So I'm going to show you is some of the things I got in December. These were issue number 1s of several solicitations I read a couple of months ago that I thought were really cool ideas. The art looked decent, and the story sounded interesting, so we'll take it for a spin, you might say. So far, I've been very pleased with number 1s, so I'll show you in a minute. The one thing about comic books is that they're comic books, okay? And so therefore, the art has to come first, at least in my opinion. Stories do matter, and you better have a good story with the art. If you don't have both, then you're obviously... In art is always say was in the eye of the beholder. There are some artists I don't like. I just do not like their style. They give me a headache, so to speak. That's fine. Everyone has their style. So my books tend to be a little, certain vein, certain style. I have certain artists I like. Saga is a really good book. I love the artwork of Fiona Staples. So yeah. So there's a artist I like. Anyways, what is about the? I gotta make sure I'm up here again. Put back to the beginning. Since I started this. Okay, we're gonna do this now. Right monitor. Boop. All right. First up is hardcore. Okay, kind of interesting thought process, right? Where this soldier basically goes into other people's bodies. Okay, so they're reading the tagline website. Imagine being able to take over the body of anyone on Earth. Sound crazy? Not for Agent Drake and the hardcore program. They can turn any person into a human drone to get to targets that normal soldiers can't. Drake is the best soldier hardcore has to offer, but when he gets stranded in a body with only 72 hours to discover who's hijacked the program, you have to pull out all the stops against an enemy who could be literally anyone. So the idea of jumping into someone else's body and kind of remotely controlling them, was kind of interesting idea, kind of scary in some respects. I don't want someone taking over my body. Now, what I didn't like was that they showed him in one body, does a thing. Then goes in another body, and bam, now he's stuck. I wish they did some more bodies, more of that. But so far, storyline looks pretty cool, right? So we're gonna give it a shot. Next up is Die. Kieran Gillen is a author who's written many different things like Wicked and Divine, as well as some Star Wars stuff. And so he did this book, Die, and a group of 40-something adults have to deal with the returning unearthly horror they barely survive as teenage role players. Get that? As teenagers, they were playing a role-playing game, got sucked into the world, came back to our world. One didn't make it back. They've been living for 20 odd years with that memory, and now they get sucked back in again. Pretty cool. I think it's a really cool premise, right? And so that's one cover. Here's the other cover for it. That's pretty cool. The artwork so far has been decent, good. I don't want to say anything directly yet. All right, Self-Made. This is an interesting book. When chaos besieges the kingdom of Arcadia, warrior Amala Satali sees it as her chance to escape her clearly defined role and to change her destiny. But she could never have predicted that it would also be her chance to confront her god. What's interesting is the fact that she's not real, and yet she becomes sentient in this. I think it's a book, movie, game, whatever it is, right? So that's the thing, right? It's supposed to be all fake. I think it's a computer game, and yet the person becomes very sentient. So it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. Interesting premise, interesting idea. The freeze. The entire human population is frozen by a mysterious global event, all except Ray, and only he has the power to unfreeze them. Now that the fate of the world is in his hands, he must figure out what is going on, how to get things right again, and answer the question, does everyone deserve to be saved? So it's a very interesting premise, a very interesting story going forward, and we'll see what happens. I mean, so far I've been pretty pleased. Prodigy. Edison Crane's not content being the world's smartest man and most successful businessman. His brilliant mind needs to be constantly challenged. He's a Nobel Prize winning scientist, genius composer, Olympic athlete, an expert in the occult, and now international governments are calling on him to fix problems they just can't handle. So far, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, this one's up here because, hey, I know I'm a Star Wars fan, right? So why not? Except, I bring this up for two reasons. One is number 25, and apparently this is the last issue of this run of Darth Vader, and there was some spoilers or stuff in here that's like, what the heck? Now, you could argue, I think it has been said that, the Marvel comic books aren't canon, so therefore they are what is in the world. And so what happens in this book is that there's a scene of him reflecting on his past, and you see him, seeing his mom pregnant, obviously with Anakin, and we see Palpatine touching the mother and like this little spark, right? So it makes you wonder, Now, mind you, she was already pregnant, okay? So therefore, if the spark was anything like midichlorians, anything, it wasn't anything that sparked life, right? But that's one theory of possibly it's Palpatine, because Darth Plagueis was his master who taught about how you could bring people back from the dead, which is one reason why Darth Sidious, Palpatine kept telling Anakin, I know a way the dark side can bring people back to life, which is why he was so hoping that Padme could be brought back to life. The other thing was in the book, just seeing where you see Anakin again, on either side of him is Palpatine and Obi-Wan, and one of them saying, or I don't know whose voice it is, saying, I am your father. Now, you could argue that was actually him reflecting the future with the whole thing telling Luke. But then again, are you saying that Obi-Wan's the father? I don't think so. I think Obi-Wan's too young. Palpatine's the father? I'll tell you, if this is canon, and if canon is trying to say that Palpatine is Anakin's father, I don't know. It wouldn't necessarily change anything, but it does make it interesting. It makes you wonder about what the future is totally for the Skywalker line, which all goes right now through Kylo Ren, right? So, who knows? All right, and that's why I mentioned it. So, what kind of books are you all reading? What kind of books do you think I should be reading that I have not bothered to mention? Is something that maybe I should be talking about? All right, next up are games and MMOs, the massive multi-online, of course, RPGs, role-playing games. I love playing the games. I've been playing them for, oh my gosh, 15 years now. Wow, since Dark Age of Camelot. And I played World of Warcraft. I played Final Fantasy 14. I played Rift. I played Star Wars: Old Republic. I played a lot of them. Okay, I've even played some of the old ones like EverQuest. I think I might have tried EverQuest 2. I have never played Ultimate Online. So there are some old ones I have not played. But I've also kickstarted a bunch of games, and so I'm like thinking, what's going to be the future for this? I keep waiting for the games to get released. That's what's taking so long. And I want to be able to play these games. So when they all come out one time, I'm going to be screwed. Okay, but anyways, I just thought I'd throw it out there. MMOs that are on MMORPG.com's most anticipated MMOs for 2019. Now, what's missing on these lists are some games I have kickstarted. Either they're not anticipated for 2019, or they're just not anticipated, or most anticipated, right? Could be below the 10. Top two are Camelot Unchained and Crowfall. Two are made by industry veterans. Camelot Unchained is obviously has a pedigree back to Dark Age of Camelot. Crowfall has a pedigree, I forget where. So those two I have kickstarted. I'm waiting for those games to come out. They're both in like alpha or beta right now. They're still ahead of my time, so to speak. I didn't pay for the alpha. I paid for like late beta, I think it was. I didn't want to pay all that money. I wasn't interested in playing the game unfinished. I'm interested in playing the game finished. I'm not someone who cares about how the game gets developed. I just want a good game. So on the list also are Lost Ark, Ascent Infinite Realm, Bless Unleashed, Torchlight Frontiers, Astelia, New World, and Saga of Lucimia. Now, Torchlight Frontiers is from the folks who also make at least the let's say Star Trek Online, Champions Online is that company that does all those things. It was that PAX West. I didn't check it out. And the New World comes from the new Amazon studio, so everyone's interested to see what that happens. So that's those lists. So what are you interested in MMOs for 2019? All right, what games am I playing? The old man Kennethan play. By watching my stream, you've seen me play Bounty Train a lot. I do love train games. I think about making that definitely a once a week thing where I'm always going to play a train game, where it's Bounty Train or other games coming out. I've always been a fan of Sid Meier's Railroad Tycoon series, so do that. I've also been playing, obviously the typical stuff, PUBG, Fortnite with friends and family. I've also been playing, Frostpunk. I have not played for a while. I need to play it again, okay? Fallout 76, I've been playing, and there are a lot of other games I want to play too. So if you go to my channel, you can see the games I'm interested in. I'm also thinking about trying new games, like maybe a Friday or Saturday night, just playing brand new game, just trying it out for a couple hours, and then just, either, I don't know, become my new number one, or I just put it aside. What are your games? What games do you play? What games are you interested in playing the most? All right, books. A lot of books I have on my nightstand, so to speak. They are half read. Oh man, too many books to read sometimes. Anyways, there's a book called Awe by Paul David Tripp. Really good book to read. These are definitely Christian books. And also a book I've been reading called God Dreams, 12 Vision Templates for Finding and Focusing Our Church Future. So the admins of GMA have been reading this book to get a better idea what we do for our future and how God wants us to lead us. So, yeah. The other books too I'm reading, but those are the ones right now. So, what books are you guys all reading? What books should I be reading that I've missed? Is I think something I don't also do Audible books, right? But I'm curious to know what else I should be reading. All right, last up on the list, I call it reality check. Something real things happening in real life with real people, even though this is a non-real world of Animal Crossing. There's an 87-year-old who's been playing like 4 years or 3,500 hours of Animal Crossing. So first off, if you think that old people can't play games, you're wrong. Because after all, people like that age were the ones who created the video games I played, in my youth, or early adulthood. People my age are the ones running the studios now. Don't blame us. I know. Don't at me. But they do play games, right? I know a lot of people, more younger people, play games, and maybe people like, well, once you grow up, you don't play games anymore. Okay. I guess then I never grew up, huh? Anyways, that's a reality check. So like I said, I'm going to try to do this once a week. If anything, it's mainly for my practice. It's for my my practice, yeah. Is to be able to put a show together, to do some research. I mean, I've been helping out other folks, and I just thought I wanted to do more comic books. I thought about it just be comics, but that maybe wouldn't be enough, so I added more stuff to it. Like things are on my list of things to do. I might just turn it into a comic book, you know. The old man Kennethan show just me about comic books, but I wanted to talk about other things too that are like out there in the nerd geek world, so to speak, you know. So there we go. That's it for right now, that show. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to pray us out, and then we'll move on from there. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the opportunity to do this and to learn and grow. And thank you for the people earlier who pointed out to me the mic was not working. I'm grateful for this opportunity to be here and to do this and to remember it's always about you. Help me, Father, in my efforts and my deeds and all that's happening. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I think I'll try to post this on YouTube. So, yeah, take care of yourself. And God bless you. And streaming out.